Good morning, this is a screencast to demonstrate how to set up subcategory icons within your site. So here I've got a demo site, conveniently titled Uncomplicated Categories. The demo site has a menu. I've already installed a breadcrumb, I've already installed a category list in the left-hand sidebar, but the purpose of this screencast is to focus on actually bringing those categories to life. If I go to one of my top-level categories, such as technology, I haven't got any products in this category because all the products live within subcategories, such as this subcategory called desktops or laptops. But when I'm in one of those parent categories, at the moment they're a little bit dead. I could add products to them. I could add all the products from all the subcategories, and that would be a good way forward. But alternatively, I could demonstrate within this body of the page that I have subcategories by introducing subcategory icons. So to do that, I'm going to go into my theme. I'm going to check that I've already installed either Icons Uncomplicated or Categories Uncomplicated. So if I go into my admin area, here in Apps, I've got Categories Uncomplicated installed. I've already set up my category list. If you'd like any help with that, there's a separate screencast just for that. But I've already set up my category list. I've set my top level. It's been refreshed, and it's let's put it in as categories at the top level. It's going to refresh itself to rebuild the things we need. So the next step from here is to actually embed the subcategory icons code in exactly the same way we did for any of these other things. So in the previous example, I talked about the breadcrumb here, I talked about the category list. Both of those are embedded within the theme. So if I go into Online Store, Themes, I can edit my HTML and CSS. I'm using the supply theme for this purpose. And if I go into Snippets, Collections sidebar, then in here I've already added the HTML required for the category list. What I want to do now is work out the right place to place my subcategory icons. There are a handful of different ways of doing this. I like to use a tool called Firebug. And so I'm using Firebug to scan the page and to work out the structure of my page. Essentially, I want to put it in above the product grid, which is here in grid uniform. This will vary from theme to theme, and so if you're not a theme designer or a web designer, you might like to consult your web designer for this. Alternatively, I can show you where it goes for this theme, and because we offer a 10-day free trial, if you want to experiment with it for your own theme, then please of course feel free. There's no charge if you want to install within the 10 days, and you can see how it lands for you. Right now I'm going to go into my theme. So in the theme, I'm going to go to my collection page, because that's the page where I really want this to show up, and I'm going to scan down through the collection page to find the place where those those product icons are being created. Looks to me like it's here, because I can see there's an include of product grid item within a for loop, and this is the uniform grid they create. Now what I've done is put the embed in here. It's currently commented. That's what these tabs are at the moment. So obviously this wouldn't be here. You'd simply take this code, which is available on the app page, copy and paste it. This is how your theme would look before. This is how it would look after you cut and pasted it in, and then save. Once that's saved, I'm going to have a look at my front end. This is part of that experimentation. I'm going to refresh the page, and here I can see there are some subcategories. So I'm sitting in the technology section. The technology section has 3 subcategories: computers, mobile phones, and peripherals, and I can see those subcategories here. At the moment, it's showing that computers has no products in, mobile phones has no products in, and peripherals has 3 products in. I can choose to show the number of products in those subcategories if I'd like or not. If you come to the Categories Uncomplicated app page in the Shopify App Store, then here, coming down towards the bottom, are some alternative ways of showing those category icons. This is the default view. So when we have it set up without any show class on it, what it's actually doing is showing this show class down direct. show down direct, and show 4 up. What that means is it will show only the direct children of a parent category, so only the subcategories directly underneath it, and it'll show 4 of them across the page. Obviously, if there are only 3, it'll show 3. If there's only 1, it will show 1. But if there were 10, it would show them in rows of 4 across the page. So if I save that and go back into our front end of the store, refresh it, then we see that everything's exactly as it was. If I change the show up to 2, so I only want to show 2 across the page, and go back and refresh, it will now wrap the row after only 2. You can see because there's only 2 across the page, they're showing up as much bigger. I'm going to go back to showing them as 4 up, and I'm going to go to the Categories Uncomplicated page and choose some of these alternative, these optional extras for how they're displayed. This one will only show the category if it has products inside it. So if I go back in here and I change the embed for that bit of code, which now features this class at the end, show only if PC, then when I refresh, they'll go to 4 across the page again, but 2 of them will disappear. And the reason for that is that 2 of our subcategories don't actually have any products in, and we've selected that we don't want those to display. I'm actually going to say that I do want those to display, and so I'll do that, but I'm going to say show no PC, and that is that I want all of them to display, but I don't want the product counts to show. So now I've just got the image and the title with no product count. As I say, this is all documented here, and I'm currently using this show no PC class, which is here under hide product counts that appear after each category. So the next step is actually to start making these category icons appear with icons. The way we do that is by loading into each one of the collections that these link to an image. That's done again through the Shopify interface. So if I go, it's not done in themes, if I go instead through to products, collections, then here I can see a list of all the collections, products, collections. Here I can see a list of all the collections I've got set up on my site, and at the moment none of them has icons. What I'm going to do is work through them and add icons in there. We were just having a look at the technology section, and within technology, computers was one of the collections. So I'm going to scroll down this list, find computers. And in here, as we talked about before, I can set the title, I can set the description of the collection, and I can set an image. So if I go choose selection image, I choose category images, computers, and save, then now that image is nominated as this collection. The next step I need to do in the process is to go back into the category app and refresh. What that does is it goes and pulls that collection image from Shopify and nominates it as the image that should be displayed when we're looking at the technology category and the subcategories within it. So now if I go back to technology and refresh, this image will change from the no image uploaded to the computers image. And now you're starting to get a sense of actually what this tool creates for us. It gives us the opportunity to create these subcategories with named images on them, and all through the Shopify system. So none of it is hidden or enclosed or protected within the app. Instead, we're just using the Shopify navigation, the Shopify collections, and the Shopify images on those collections in order to make this look nice. I'm going to repeat this process now for the other collections we picked out here. This will take me a minute, so I'm going to speed on through. Great, so now I've got a complete list here in collections. All those collections have been given images, and the next and most important step is to go back into the app and refresh. This allows Categories Uncomplicated to pull in from all those collection pages all of the images and display them as the image that's shown on the subcategories. So now when I go back into technology, the page we were looking at, and I refresh the page, not only do we have a nice icon on computers, but also mobile phones, and peripherals. If I browse through the site at this point, that should be a fairly consistent picture. Each one of these subcategories now has an icon attached to it. You're seeing that my connection is a little bit slow here, so it takes a second for those to load, but once they're loaded, they're cached. If I browse through, then each one of these subcategories, of course, is clickable, and clicking on, say, smartphones will take me to the smartphones collection. So smartphones itself has no subcategories, so these are products, and it's absolutely up to you whether you want to create a separation between the subcategories and the products. There's no reason why a single collection can't have both subcategories, as this one does, but also products within it. And it's up to you, and if you are a web designer or if you work with a web designer, to work with that person to decide how exactly you'd like it to look, whether you want to have a little title here that says subcategories, or whether you want a title that says products. But either way, you've got that freedom, and the tools are provided by this app. I'll finish the screencast by just demonstrating how those new subcategories integrate with all the other components that make up Categories Uncomplicated. So here, as I click around, whether I'm clicking here on the breadcrumb or in my menu, whether I'm clicking on a category icon, or whether I'm selecting a category from the category list on the left hand side, it's a seamless experience provided to you and your customers. Thanks very much.